Hi guys, so today I'm going to be doing a book review of The Program by Suzanne Young. I finished this book about half an hour ago and oh my gosh, I just needed to talk about it straight away because I loved this book so much. So let me tell you what The Program is about. It's a YA dystopian, which is probably the first thing you need to know, and it features heavily on suicide. So if you don't like reading about suicide, then I would probably not recommend this book, as suicide is a big theme in this book, as well as depression and mental illness. So in this world, suicide in teenagers has become an epidemic, and 1 in 3 teenagers are committing suicide. It's become so bad that people wanted to do something about it, so they created this something called a program, where teens are sent away when they notice that they are showing signs of depression, and they go in this kind of program for 6 weeks, and when they come out of it, all their memories that made them depressed and everything are gone. However, also all their memories of made them who they are gone too, and they just kind of come out this blank slate, just a shadow or a ghost of the person that they used to be. So the teenagers have very mixed feelings about the program because they really don't want to lose their memories, what makes them them, but it's a bit hard not to be depressed, especially when you live in this world. But I'll get to that later. And this book follows Sloane, whose brother committed suicide, and her brother's best friend James and her are dating, and they are madly in love. Now Sloane and James are not handling their feelings very well. Obviously with her brother's death, it still looms on both of them very much so, as her brother was a big part of both of their lives. They're watching friends get taken away from them left, right and center and taken to the program and then come back and not even know them anymore. And so basically Sloane and James have to kind of put on a brave face and pretend that everything's alright and happy. But as things go on, it's becoming harder and harder for them to do so. And really it's just a matter of the time before they get flagged and sent off to the program. So that's the premise of this story. Now there are a couple of faults with this, and I guess it's a whole kind of depression thing and how they handle it. Really how they handle depression is not realistic, like it wouldn't happen. Of course if you were in this world, all the teenagers would be depressed because you would be worried, like you wouldn't want to be taken away and you'd be worried about getting taken away and get your memories lost. Like it's just like this huge cycle and it makes no sense. But with a dystopian, I think it sets in because a lot of dystopians really, if you think about them, are a little bit unrealistic. However, I could totally see suicide becoming an epidemic, and depression is a thing that affects a lot of people. A lot of people go through depression at least once in their lives. This is definitely not the way to handle these situations, but it's definitely something that you could see happening. Though I do know that a lot of people have faults with the way that this is handled, and for that reason they don't really like that part of the book. And as it is a big part, you're not liking a big part of the story. However, I managed to push those feelings aside because for me, it was still interesting to see how it all played out, and I could push away the feelings of it not being too realistic because it was still almost frightening and confronting and terrifying and one of these compulsing reads. There are 2 main reasons why I love this book, and they both have to do with the characters. The first is how much I felt for these characters. I felt nervous for them, I felt scared for them, I felt angry for them. I felt so much for these characters and I empathize with them so much. As you go through and things get worse and you see what happens to them, you just feel so much for them, and I just felt so connected to these characters. I just hated seeing them go through what they do. This book really made me feel for the characters, and because of that I had such a strong connection to this book. The other thing that I absolutely loved was the romance aspect in this book. This has probably had one of the best romances in a book that I have read for a little while. Sloane and James are just madly in love with each other, and it's just beautiful to watch and see how they try and protect each other and look out for each other. They're both so sweet and caring. James is hilarious. I also really like Sloane as a main protagonist. This romance was just adorable. It's obviously not a perfect relationship, no relationships are, but it's definitely a fantastic one, and one that just made me feel for the characters even more and just root for them the entire time. I needed to know what was going to happen to these characters from the get-go, and I just felt so connected to them and compelled to know what was going to happen next. And especially about halfway during the novel, I just kind of wanted to read it all in one sitting, which is basically what I did. I couldn't put this book down. I normally like to marathon my series, but I only have the first book in this and the third book in this, so I don't have the second book in the series. I don't know when I'll be going out next, but as soon as I go out to a Dimmicks or a local bookstore and they have it and I have money, I will be buying this straight away. The next book in this series is on the top of my wish list. I absolutely want it so much. Like I have a physical need for it, and I haven't had a physical need this much for a book in ages. Normally I can wait a few months and I can read other books, but I just have a physical need to want to continue on the series ASAP, so hopefully I can get the next book soon. So yeah, absolutely love the program. I'm rating it a 4.5 between the 5 stars. I really enjoyed it and I just felt so passionately about it. I can understand why it's not for everyone, but for me it was just, I don't know, I really enjoyed it for some reason. Let me know in the comments below if you have read the program and what you thought of it, and like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you'd like to see more book related videos from me, and I'll see you next time. Okay, bye!